When I was playing baseball when I was about 10 years old, it was in those early years of kids starting to pitch. And I remember I was standing on the mound, I had my glove there, and I would pitch, and I kept messing up, and I couldn't figure out why. And I remember my coach, he was a really great coach for that age. He came out to the mound, and he walked up to me, and he says, "Hey, Kevin, it's just me and you out here. Play like I know you can play." And as a 10-year-old, it did something amazing to me. What I was letting happen was I was letting the game bother me. When I was pitching, I was seeing the batter standing right there, and it was messing with my head. And this is what my coach said. He just said, "It's just me and you out here." And as that 10-year-old, it changed everything about the way I was playing. My posture changed, the way I was pitching changed, and it was incredible how my performance even changed. Why? Because I kept my focus on what I know I was supposed to be doing, and that was pitching. Now, in the game of life, I think there's a lot of times where Jesus just says, "Hey, don't let the opponent get in your head. Just play the way I know you know how to play. Just play the way you've been called to play." And I think there's a verse that shares really just this exact thought. And as James chapter 4, look at verse 7. He says, "Submit therefore to God." And then this is the part you've probably heard before, but I kind of want to look at it just slightly differently. Not all that differently, just with a slightly different perspective. It says, "Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." As a 10-year-old standing on that pitcher's mound, I was nervous, I was rattled, I was thinking about my opponent. And this is what I had to learn, is that yes, I was playing with an opponent. My opponent was very real, and he was on the same playing field as me. But my goal was not to make sure he does poorly. My goal was to do the best that I could. And this is the difference in this verse. When it says, "Resist the devil, and he will flee from you," what this is really saying is that you're supposed to resist the devil, but don't go chasing him, right? It's just like any good coach. You could picture a coach saying something like this: "Don't let the opponent in your head," right? You've probably heard this before in all the different kinds of sports. Why? Is because when you start letting the opponent in your head, you're already starting to lose the game, aren't you? And in the game of spiritual warfare, I think it's very similar. That if we allow Satan to become our opponent, and we think so much about, "I just need to make sure that he gets beat. I need to make sure that I overcome Satan," that a lot of times we take our eyes off the first part of that verse. What does the first part say? "Submit therefore to God." And James continues on in chapter 4, verse 8, and he says, "Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you." And it's this idea that you keep your eyes on what you're supposed to be doing. You keep your eyes on your main focus. You keep your eyes on drawing closer to God. You keep your eyes on the glory of God. And when you do that, your opponent will try to stop you. But remember, watching Satan do poorly is not your goal. Glorifying God is your goal. Drawing near to him is your goal. Knowing God is your goal. Making God known to others is your goal.